while we're on the topic, things like TikTok and these social media things that they would have been having their way with over this period of time. What is your take on that? Leave them, let them do what they have to do. Not necessarily SEA children, but the younger ones. Leave them, let them TikTok, or the ones who might be in secondary school and not ready for CSEC yet. Leave them, let them TikTok, or we should be trying to cut down that screen time.
That is a matter of parenting, yes, and parenting decisions. So the parent to make. Each child is different. You got to know your child. You have some children who could self-regulate very well. I was not one. You have children who need a parenting figure to regulate them. If my mother let me go online for 2 days, 3 days straight, I was going online for 3 days straight. I'm serious, right? So I needed a regulator. So you got to know your child. What I can tell you about short snippet videos, like at one point there was Vine, that was a big thing. TikTok has now come and replaced Vine. But those type of short snippet videos, what they do is over time they help reduce the attention span. So what it does is it gives hyper focus for short periods. So children now only want to see things that are very active, colorful, bright, and short.
Right.
At one point, if I could have gotten a cliff notes of a book, I wouldn't read the book because I say the cliff notes, but the cliff notes is 30-something pages.
Yeah, I did.
The average child now, the way they function based on TikTok and thing, if it's not half a minute, they don't want to see it. So they want to, cliff notes too long.
No, the thing is, this is one thing that's based on perspective. And obviously, we know going into our next generation, seeing these things. So I think that we can't really determine how it will go. Right now, people have done different studies and whatnot. But my thing is this. If we leave them to do what they have to do for their generation, rather than we try to force the way our generation operated. So, things different. If you understand what I'm saying, they are going into a different generation. They're going to have to deal with people who have that shorter attention span. And we're trying to say, no, this is not good for you. You shouldn't have all the screen time. While other children get any screen time, and then they'll be in a different world. Let's be real. So you could end up, you think you're saving a child, but then the child is in a world of children who had unlimited screen time.
Well, let me throw this at you then. Parenting in general, right? We parent based on how we were parented.
Right. Which is awful, but
it had a book.
Right,
There's no text. So and nobody could argue that point because that's the truth. Even if there's something that you say you will not do, you're not doing it because your parent did it to you now. Right? So you say, my mother used to cut my tail up and down the place, bust my ass, blah, 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 blah. And I am not going to, I'm not going to hit my child. But you're not going to do it because of how your parent parented you.
Right, yeah.
Right?
And which it might have been necessary at some point, but then you didn't do it because you didn't want
to exactly. Parent. So based on how your parents have parented, you shapes a whole lot of how you go to parent your child. You can say, some of these things work for me, and I turned out just fine, so you're going to do that on your child. Right? My dad didn't really give much licks and stuff, however, but when a man tell you something emotionally, you feel like you're broken inside, you know what I mean? And so, based on how I have grew up, I don't think I may hit my children, but I know by the time I get them a tongue lashing, they might feel to park up, So it's I would say it is based on how you were parented, and so I wouldn't knock the persons too much on who don't want the children engaging so much contact hours with screens, because that's not how they were parented. If they were parented with a lot on going outside and things, then they will encourage the children to go outside more. One of the things that we are losing, though, I will say, is that we are losing that connectivity, that face-to-face connection. And imagine we had COVID, and the issue with a lot of students was not that they're not seeing their brethren, because they're accustomed to that. They are accustomed FaceTime, they are accustomed WhatsApp phone call, and that was normal for them. The issue is that they couldn't go online outside. They can go to movie tongue and they can do these things, but the communication aspect of it, they have been prepared for COVID apparently all their life. Right?
Which is, I mean, because like the other day I was telling my younger daughter, I was like, do you know that we were born before Google? And she couldn't believe that. She thought Google was here from the beginning of time.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I remember when Google came here.
Yeah, so
Google and Facebook.
Yeah, these things came while we were already big. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was in university.
Yeah, so, you know, there's also a perspective. You know, it could be very funny. And for me, I tend to look at things as far ahead as I can. So I wouldn't be robbing my younger ones of opportunities because I'm just trying to stick to what I know. So I try to tell, no, my thing home is, you have a phone, right? My both daughters have phones. Don't ever tell me you don't know something. But you tell me, well, you can't find the information. But you have phones. If I ask a question and you don't know, go and Google it. Right? And till my little daughter will tell you, if her mother says something and, well, I don't know. She said, well, mommy, Google it. You understand? And she is 8 years old. So, you understand what I'm saying? So, that is why, for me, I am not too hard on them at screen time. I must say, both of them likes going outside, interacting, going with their cousins, having a time. So, we don't have to actually regulate that with them. They still, you know, that's...
Self-regulate.
Yeah.
They self-regulate. So, I don't know, you have to know your child, how you're dependent on how your child... Yeah, each child is different. You don't have to do that with yours. Some children, you might have to say, all right, enough of that now. Time to go outside or go and check so and so. You wouldn't believe I have parents who bring their children, their teenage children to me because they all they do is play game whole day every day. Nothing else. For this whole 5 months, no homework, no nothing, game.
Yeah, but I mean, not saying that is okay, but let's just look at the guy who won the Fortnite thing and how much you like $5 million US or something like that.
Everybody always bring it up as example.
No, I mean, let's be real. It's a reality, right?
Right,
I mean,
right.
there is money to be made from gaming.
Right.
So
there's money to be made from Lotto.
True.
You know.
But I think you have more control of the game now. If we have this problem with gaming and realize you're really not good at the game, I'd be like, back up the game. Take it off. It makes no sense. You understand? But if I see has some potential in it, because I mean, that child could end up becoming a developer.
Well, that is what a lot of children argue, that they want to be developers, or at least professional game players. So they playing games for a living and so on. But that requires a little bit more than just liking to play game and not willing to get up, because to get to that level of developer, to get to that level as professional game player, you kind of had to get up and stop playing game at some point and go on. I mean, so to me, you have to look at, okay, is this something that you love or are you an addict?
Right.
Right? So, and there's a thin line, because there's a thin line between people who are obsessed with something and an addict, having an addiction. Because I think the people who are obsessed are usually the people who change the field.
Okay.
You know, they go into it and they change whatever because you're obsessed with this. You want to know every aspect, But when you have an addiction, it's something like, it's a craving. You just have to do this, and that's everything else don't matter to you. You just have to do it. It's not, you're not looking to improve, change. You know, a heroin addict ain't looking to make the recipe better. You know what I mean?